When children first learn to count, they'll do it by memorising the sequence of the numbers, so they can list them like 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And that's a great starting point, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they actually know how to count some objects, which is why we want children to learn what we call one-to-one correspondence. What that means is that when you have a group of objects and you're trying to count them, that children can actually put the numbers to the right amount. So for example, when I do this, I would be saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If a child was not sure what they were doing, they might say something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they haven't actually necessarily counted the right amount, even though they've still got the numbers in the right order. So one way you can teach this is by using a toy. I like to use a toy to show the toy getting it right or wrong. So you can get them to do it and see if the child can work out the mistake. Start with numbers they're more sure of. So you might have a toy say 1, 2, and then your child should hopefully say, no, they've missed 1, or whatever. You can also show a toy getting it right and having good success. So for example, you might have a collection like this, and you might show the toy counting them out and getting it right. You can also show how the toy does this. So for example, a child is going to have much more success counting if they line up their objects, because it's more of a sequence and it's easier for them to recognise them. So you can show a toy doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this can work with any size numbers, so you can do it for their own level. You could play a game to do this. You could roll a dice and see what the number says. This one says 1, nice and easy. Can they match it? And put 1 of the object in the tin. And you repeat. You just keep going. 6. So this time they're having to count out 6. You're seeing whether your child can do all those different things. The good thing about this is that they're going to be counting twice. They will need to count the dots on the dice, and then they'll need to count the objects going into the tin. Children love drawing things in sand, but if you don't have sand at home, be creative. You could use salt or sugar. So you could have a tray like this, roll your dice, they count the number of dots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then they could draw a monster and put 6 legs on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can be as creative as you like with what you draw and things like that. You could also get children's toys out and you could use things on their body. You could say, if we've got this many toys with this many feet, how many socks would we need? And get the children to use their own socks or whatever to find the right number. So they're doing that one-to-one, saying how many feet there are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then they're going to have to count out 8 socks. When you first do this, start with objects like I've just been showing you, where children can touch them. As they get a bit more advanced, you can start to do things that are a bit more abstract that they can't necessarily touch. You could count cars as they drive past, or birds in the garden, and things like that. The most important thing with this is to make sure that for every time they say a number, they're seeing or touching an object, and count anywhere and everywhere that you can. Toys in the bath, peas on the plate, whatever it is, just get counting.